my name's Denise Wosley. I'm a community worker in the South Ward of Randwick Council out in the eastern suburbs of Sydney. I grew up in public housing out in the South Maroubra estate. Lived there for 20 years. My mother still lives in public housing in Maroubra, and she's a pensioner now. So public housing is very important to me, and I'm a community worker in the area, so I work very closely with all the wonderful people who live in housing as well.
My name is Julie Speeds and I'm a worker at Kallura Community Centre. I've been here for 20 years. Kallura services tenants living in the South Ward of Randwick. It's based on the Bilger estate, and our priority target group is the Housing New South Wales residents.
For me, the big issue in the paper that the state government's released is I think that you're trying to pull a rabbit out of a hat, to be honest with you, and I want to be constructive here. Social housing, public housing is a part of the welfare budget. It will always have a budget impact, and to think that you can get to be cost neutral is just not feasible. Housing costs in Sydney are beyond middle class, let alone more vulnerable people on pensions and other sort of welfare payments. I think you need to think about investing in people here instead of trying to take things away from them.
I think it's false economics. I actually don't understand people that restrict themselves to political terms of 3 years. We know if we put money into children when they're born, then we've got sound citizens who contribute to society. And I think what we should be doing is re-evaluating, not looking at how we can cut housing costs or welfare budgets, but looking at how we can support all people in the process of having children, in education, health, in housing. And I just think that these are the wrong questions. We should be looking at putting more money into supporting people so that over a period of more than 3 or 4 years of the political term, that we will actually reap the benefits.
I agree with Juliet, and I think to look at this public housing in isolation, and to give you your due, I think you do so that you're going to work with other departments and things, but while you've got negative gearing, while you've got people investing in pensions, buying multiple housing, you've got to look at the whole housing sector and how the money from that is distributed as well.
Probably the best thing is actually to talk about some of the results at Kallura. We get very limited funding, and obviously we target on supporting people through very difficult times. One family that I'm thinking of, their mother actually left the children with the grandmother. They'd had a fairly tumultuous upbringing. Being supported by Kallura, both of the children have gone through, they've achieved, they've got apprentice, they've been on apprentice, they've finished their apprenticeship and are working and contributing to society. And that's what we should be doing. We should be actually looking at getting that outcome of people being able to contribute fairly effectively to the wider community.
And I think, being here today, I met an older man, and his story really touched me as well. He was a cleaner in his working life. He's older now, and he was telling me what life was like before he had public housing. He was in a private hotel down at Central that was no bigger than a cell, that was filthy. I mean, these are the alternatives for people. He's been in public housing for a few years now. He's got friends. He's a part of the Kallura community. He's a healthy, happy, man. And I just think that they're the stories you've got to listen to. I think the only way you can make the system fairer is to invest more in the system.
And I think probably for me, I think a society is judged on how the poorest in our society are treated. And I don't think we really we don't do that very well. And I really think we should be supporting the least of our brothers and sisters as much as we can.
And finding value in them. This is what we do down, around here, is that these people, a lot of people, you can't put a dollar value on them, so you write them off, but they have great value, don't they, Julie? And they contribute to their neighbours in so many ways. And there's a perception that you live on public housing and everybody's crime-ridden and it's horrible, but that's not my reality of it. I know my mum has great neighbours who she looks after, who look after her. You know, there's a great community. So, and that's something we will fight to hold on to, and they will fight to hold on to.
Absolutely. Community is critical.
Yeah.
Poor, rich.
Yeah. So I think that's it. Just value these people, and another thing is, you need to come down here and talk to them. This isn't good enough. This putting out a report just before Christmas. You need to come down and talk to them because they're the people affected. They're the people whose lives can be shattered by whatever decisions you make. So some really substantial community consultation with people whose lives are affected, please.
Ditto.
Thank you for listening to us.